Hey, you're watching Foodcaster. I'm Michael. Hey, it's Foodcaster, everything about having a relationship with food. And we're going to have a special guest. Sam eats plants. Let's see if we can get Sam on. We're connecting. Hello, hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm happy. 2020, it's happening.
Yes, yes. How's life?
It's good. It's good. I'm excited because, listen, you can hear my voice and I can hear yours. So we're still here and we're still enjoying food. Have you seen some of my little pics of some little creations?
I see they're trying, dipping and dabbing.
Listen, dipping in, it tastes good. So
I mean, that's
today,
great.
I really want to talk about something that I'm not hearing people talk about, and that's building their immune system.
hmm
You know, like
Um,
mm,
yeah, like no one's talking about it, but everyone's like, "Oh, the virus.
the
Wash your hands,
mm-hmm.
sanitize, wear a face mask." And
Right.
the most powerful weapon is strengthen your immune system, which isn't hard. And it's been very aggravating for me. I'm like waiting, some big name to start talking about what do we put in our body? What should we not? What should we put on the outside of our body? What should we not? No one's saying anything. No one's saying anything. And this is like our best defense to not be symptomatic from any type of infection, viral or bacterial.
So I would like to do two parts of this. One, let's talk about that. I'm gonna get it a little bit into farming and things happening in the news in reference to farming, because it's having a relationship with food is not only eating it, cooking it, but also planting it, right? You know, just growing and that whole aspect of it. So let's first go with building the immune system. Right now, we know
So
coronavirus is attacking the immune system. In your opinion, how do we defend it?
And the virus isn't attacking our immune system. The virus is just living or non-living because viruses are not alive,
Mm-hmm.
second part, but it's not attacking our immune system. It's doing what it does. It's looking for a host. What we're trying to do is create a situation in our body where our body is not suitable for a virus to be in. So really, it's like, well, what do they want? What can they live in well? They live in more acidic environments well. Like if your blood is a little bit more acidic, it's a little bit more friendly for them.
Right.
If your cells don't really operate correctly, like maybe you're dehydrated, maybe they're lacking nutrients, well, then your body can't even work up the defense to like kick the sucker out. So the question is, well, what do we need? Very simply, we need nutrients and minerals. Okay, that's a simple answer.
Okay.
Where are the most like vitamins and minerals located? Okay, the most are located in fruits and in vegetables, mostly typically in a uncooked form, right? So that's the most. Everything in between, there's stuff. There's stuff in rice and potatoes and meat, and there's stuff in those things, right?
What about
But like,
nuts and
what is
grains?
Sure, yeah, there's vitamins and nutrient and minerals in those as well. But if we're talking about you're scared of getting this like crazy virus out here, well,
Mm-hmm.
what are the best things? You know, what's good, better, best? And the best are fruits and vegetables. So the first question anyone should ask themselves, how many raw servings of fruits and vegetables did they have today? Yesterday? The day before? How many? Anyone have a full-on apple? A handful of blueberries? Did anyone do that? Did anyone have a salad? Did anyone make a smoothie? Did anyone decide to eat a mango? And if those answers are no, 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 and at the end of these days you didn't eat any fresh fruit or fresh vegetables, well, this is part of the problem. So that's number one.
Wait, you mentioned something a little scary too. You said host.
Yes,
How do we?
yes.
Because I mean, because part of this also is like an emotional, a mental thing too. something, a host. What does a host do? Can you
It
break that down?
allows, yes. So a host allows the invader, the parasite to live. It allows it to live. And so in order for it to live, it takes part of us. And so the question is, well, do you want our bodies to be hospitable to be hospitable hosts to these things or not? And so, yeah, we are hosts when they come in. Like they don't want to go nowhere. They love when they multiply. When we sneeze, that's our way of spreading to other people. You know, when it comes out of our pores, that's our way of spreading to other people. Some viruses like give you like diarrhea. That's nature's way for the virus to spread to other things, like to come out in an explosive way. So that we are hosts. But if your immune system is strong enough, it can't really penetrate and can't lock and key into things, into your cells like that. So, you know, create a situation where you're full of chlorophyll. Where's chlorophyll? Anything green, anything kale, celery, stems, dandelion, spinach, lettuce, broccoli. And these are easy to come by, even with people who don't really make so much. And even if people are on like EBT and SNAP, these are things that you can get on there. And so for very few of us, we don't really have like the excuse that we can't do it. It's really a force of will.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
And,
I'm
like,
taking notes. I'm taking notes as you're talking. So we got this host thing. Now, I'm riding with you. We got this host thing. It's basically
yeah.
sucking our nutrients. So we have to put a
Yes.
lot more nutrients into our body, as well as
Yes.
create an
We,
environment that's uncomfortable for this virus.
so there's a couple things you can also do. What if you you add more nutrients into your body, but what if you also extract and take out things that are not good too? So that's a double whammy. So let's say you do everything the way you're doing right now, and you add lots of vegetables. Great. What if you take out the stuff that diminishes our immune system? These are things like well done barbecued steaks. These are things like deep fried anything.
Oops.
These are
hey.
anything. I love French fries. I tell you this all the time. I love French fries. But I know chemically what's going on with them. I know chemically they are acrylamide, which is a plastic. I know that when we ingest plastics, it depresses our immune system. I know that. So if you're concerned about the virus, well, then you got to take out the French fries. You got to take out, if you're actually concerned, you don't have to do anything, you know. Right. But it's interesting because people seem to be like very like a little scared, have a little trepidation. They really don't want to get infected, but then they're not doing the things that actually will guard them the most, which is increasing your fruits and vegetable intake, decreasing deep fried and animal products, taking out dairy in total, because dairy depresses the immune system like crazy. It adds more phlegm, adds more mucus. And then the more mucus you have, that's where these viruses and bacterials kind of like stay around. So one of the reasons why your nose might run if you're sick is your body's trying to get things out, right? And so if you have a lot, and because that's where they're in the mucus. So the virus is in the mucus, the bacteria is in the mucus. So if you have a lot of mucus because you eat a lot of cheese, a lot of pizza, and a lot of dairy products in general, well, then now you're just making a place for these viruses to kind of like sit and chill, like all over here, throughout here, in your gut. Mucus is everywhere. It's in your gut. It's everywhere. It's just that these are the ones that can come out more readily. You'll see it when you blow your nose or when you wake up in the morning. Like these are ways our body is trying to help us. But our bodies can help us better if we just don't put that stuff in there, and it works more efficiently for the cause, you know?
Now, I know a lot of people are running out and buying a lot of the multivitamins, different things on the market. 3 major things they keep saying that you really, really got to get is D3, zinc, and vitamin C.
D3, yes. Not at all, only D3. The vitamin C is so prevalent in food, you get it by accident. Like you don't even have to try. Even with a pretty terrible diet, you're probably getting enough vitamin C. And then on top of that, the excess of vitamin C gets peed out typically. Some people are saying there are ways of having like a little bit of toxicity from vitamin C. I don't know, but mostly it's understood that it gets removed from our body. So there's no point in overdosing in vitamin C that is synthetic when we get so much vitamin C from real food that actually is more metabolized. Because the synthetic vitamins, in studies, you're lucky if 10% of what they say is in there actually gets absorbed in our body. And then our liver has to handle all the BS that the pills come in. So it doesn't really make sense on something like vitamin C because it's in everything. Vitamin C is in everything green. It's in all fruit. It's in potatoes and yeah, it's in everything.
I'm sorry, while you say that, all I can think of is vitamin C. Sorry.
What? I don't even know that.
I'm every one of the songs. You don't know that song?
No, I know the song. I mean, I'm every vitamin C. Of course I know that song. Get out of here. But no, I don't co-sign.
I know you eat plants.
This one. But I don't co-sign on the vitamin C. So zinc as a mineral does increase your immunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
What has to be measured is the risk of the synthetic version. Does it outweigh what you could possibly do more naturally? Because once again, these synthetic vitamins are not great for us. But for some nutrients and for some people, it is essential to take them because it's better to have the BS with the actual vitamin than nothing at all. So I wouldn't take zinc. But that's also depends on the people. Some people have really crappy immune systems where like they get sick all the time and maybe they don't have answers or maybe they don't have the will to actually decide, let me change my life. Let me change my lifestyle. One of those cases, okay, go ahead, take zinc. I'm not taking zinc. I just eat real plant food. And that's what I've decided to do.
What would be a good alternative for zinc?
Zinc's in things like seeds, pumpkin seeds, stuff like that. It's in other things in trace amounts. It's just that you have to take a concerted effort to just eat real food. You have to decide that that's important to you. And if you decide that that's what you're going to do, you don't have to think about it. You'll get it, you know? Mm-hmm. But it takes a real effort. Unlike vitamin C that doesn't take effort. Like it's everywhere. You know, you're good. You're good. But zinc takes effort. D3 is one other thing, though. This is very important. Okay. Everyone is lacking in vitamin D, and if you have melanated skin, the darker you are, the less you have because we're not outside. The number one way that we get vitamin D is when the UVB rays of the sun mixes with the cholesterol underneath our skin, and it creates vitamin D, which is actually a hormone, not a vitamin. That is how we actually make it. Depending on the color of your skin, if you're very, very pale and fair skin and you're outside 20, 25 minutes on like, not even most of your body, like maybe even close to 50%, you got it. You're good. The darker you are, the harder it is, to the point where one of the scales I see says, like, if you're very, very, very dark, you need to be out in the sun about 6 hours of the day. Wow. On over 75% exposure of your body.
Right.
Wait, so if you're in America,
pause. Just for, we're not saying don't, go outside and don't social distance. We're just saying that you need to, because some people will take that and.
I'm just talking about in general.
Just in general, yeah.
I'm just talking about in general. The thing is, like, you should go outside. Right. It is not good to stay indoors. It hurts your health to stay indoors. And so, some people live in apartments. I live in an apartment. Mm-hmm. I know people who don't feel comfortable going outside because of everything that's being said. So I know one person that would sit for 2 hours on the fire escape. So sit on the fire escape. Right. Every apartment building has a fire escape. Not everybody has a house with a backyard, a front yard, or a stoop. Right. So sit on the fire escape or make it work. Because
and that's why this is so important as we go through, different topics on this. And think about regular life, life before COVID, but also life during and after, and how it's super important to look at the different things that work alongside of food, like getting sunlight, exercise, which we could talk a little bit about that too, hopefully before we go. I'm really concerned that people are going to live in a dark little hole, right? Order food, which is funny. You got people bringing food to you, but you're still, leaving yourself to disease and stuff.
I mean, the hypocrisy of all that's being recommended and all that's being practiced is very frustrating for me, but I've just
Yeah,
decided I'm just going to do what I know to do.
for
And
your
then if
right.
people are willing to hear what might be helpful, I'm willing to
Right.
share, but if people don't want to hear it, then I don't need to share it. But I
But
love
is
doing
there a
stuff.
concern though with people that live in a hole for a certain amount of time and are not getting the sun, not getting the exercise? Then
Yes.
boom, we let the gate open. They go out and
Yes, you said it. So I've been saying this with people. The fact that a lot of people think that they don't want to go outside at all is beyond social distancing. They don't even want to just go outside and feel the air. You are weakening the immune system. I'm talking about in less than 2 months' time, you're already weakening your immune system just being indoors the whole time, just being inside. Then you haven't been around people because they're asking you not to be around people. And so the problem is one of the things that build up your immune system is being around people because you're getting foreign yes.
right.
So you're getting you get foreign bacteria. Yes. So it's like it's all a mess. So part of what strengthens our immune system is exposure to bacteria that are not on our skin and it's not in our home. And so as we get exposed, our body's like, ooh, ooh, what's this? All right, I know how to handle it. And ooh, what's that? I know how to handle it. So now we're all supposed to be social distancing more or less. So we're already going to have something that's going to weaken our immune system. So I hope you're doing the rest. Are you eating your fruits and vegetables? Are you staying away from dairy? Are you staying away from deep fried things? Are you staying away from like basically most meats cooked any way you want to look at it? Are you doing your best to make those practices while you're supposed to be social distancing? If you're not, you are hurting your immune system. And then when we do open up and now you're around other people, just in general, it's not even about coronavirus, you're going to get sick. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen. And your body hasn't been really fighting because you've been socially distancing and you've been away from people. So it's going to hit harder. This is what's going to happen. So I'm waiting for big media, the big news channels, to say, eat your fruits and vegetables, stay away from deep fried things, mind your processed sugar and white grains. When I say white grains, I mean like white bread and things like that. Mind them. If they're not saying this, then they're not actually telling you the things to really strengthen your immune system. And the question is, are they not saying it on purpose or do they actually not know? And that's, for anyone to answer for themselves. But they're not saying it. And I think it's a disservice to humanity and it's a disservice to us as a society.
Right. But also even like it's obvious if you start going into that, now begs the question, well, what is real food? What should we be consuming in general? Like, I think it leaves so many doors open that I think it's obvious that someone's got to know. We can't be the only ones,
Well,
but
you know what? Yeah.
Yeah. And then no one's talking about sleep.
So they're not talking about sleep. No one's talking about sleep, but I would hope if everyone's kind of home that they're sleeping, because what are you doing? So I almost sleep is important because sleep also helps strengthen your immune system. And I kind of assume more people are getting sleep, but maybe I'm assuming wrong. So it's something that I don't talk about just because I'm pretty sure people are resting.
Right. And I know too many people gaming 24/7 now. Binge watching every movie and everything they ever wanted to watch, which is all great, but you still got to get rest. And then there's quality sleep too. There's a difference between you fall asleep and quality sleep. And another thing is no one's talking about sleep. There's a list. There's sleep,
stress,
exercise, dealing with stress, how to deal with your family members that you're around 24/7.
So
that's a thing.
The stress piece is one, but I want to say something about people will start to question, well, what's real food? What's good food? Because that's real. I've done forums and I've done workshops where people are like, I don't even know where to start. Mm-hmm. So you know how you go to the supermarket and there's ingredients and you go to the back and you just read what's in it. the best way to look at it is by the ingredients. So you buy the things that don't have a nutrition label, like an apple or a potato or spinach or, you know, like rice. You know, you go and get things that don't have a nutrition label. That's a great place to start. And if you don't know how to cook, then get fruit that can be eaten raw, like apple or an orange, tangerine, banana, cherries, blueberries, strawberries. I think these are really good places for anyone to start. And you can still get them if you're on EBT and SNAP or WIC, you know? So like even certain barriers don't have to be barriers, and at least that if you just increase the fruit, you already increase your immune system. And there have been studies where if they don't ask anyone to change anything else in their lifestyle, but they tell them never eat less than 2 pieces of fruit a day, they already have a lower risk of cancer, a higher risk of higher life expectancy just from that alone, not even anything about exercise or anything else they're eating. They eat crap all day, but just increasing the fruit increases your life expectancy. So anyone who's hearing this, if they want to help yourself or anybody else in the most small way, eat more fruit in a day. Eat more fruit.
You
Now,
want to hear my rule, Sam?
what are your rules?
My rule is when you read the behind it, if I can't read it or spell it, I shouldn't be eating it.
That's a great rule too. That's a great rule too. And but also you're in a place where you will cook for yourself, and not everyone's in a place where they will cook for themselves.
This is true.
And so, you know, we have to sometimes meet people where they are. And as a nutrition counselor, like I've learned to do that, because it doesn't matter how much you tell them what they should do. If they're not able to, the thing that works the best is what will work. And if what they need to hear is eat 3 oranges every day, or eat a berry every like a pint of berries every day, if that's what they need to hear and still do everything else, at least we've done something that will help them get there. Sometimes it's just finding the little things that we can all share with each other to increase our immune system. But yeah, that is like basically what I want to say about food. And what I want to say about stress. I know what I need to do to keep my own personal body healthy. I do the best I can for myself, and I'm very fine with that. I have no worries. That's how confident I feel in myself.
You look.
But I will admit, oh, thanks. But I will admit that when I hear and the sounds of some of these news shows on the big stations and the colors they use, and then the numbers and the stats, even I start feeling anxiety in my chest. And I'm someone who's like, I know I do all the right things. I'm good out here in this field. Like, I know I'm good. And hearing that stresses me out. And I've decided to like completely turn it off. I don't watch these things regularly anyway, but now I won't even like clip in on something for a second. I won't, because the stress level also eats at your immune system. And that stress level is going to make you more vulnerable when you do start going out again.
Right.
It is one of the big factors for autoimmune issues, for chronic fatigue syndrome, and for cancers, stress level, and on all ways. So one of the things we can try to do to manage our stress, we can do breathing techniques. Not everybody can do yoga. Yoga I love. I can do that, and that really makes my day go great. But not everyone can do yoga. Maybe there's a physical restraint. But there's breathing techniques you can do, deep breath techniques. And if you don't know where to start and you have access to the internet, we can go on YouTube and you can find breathing techniques for sanity, breathing techniques for health, and it can guide you through something. So we have tools at our disposal. I think the question is, are you willing to do the work?
How much of a risk right now do people put themselves with drug abuse and alcohol abuse during this time of COVID? No judgment, just asking.
Ooh, so by the way, Urban Vegan Kitchen is saying Wim Hof method is a great breathing technique. So I'm going to look that up as soon as this is done.
And as soon as COVID is over, I'm going to go to Urban Vegan Kitchen and get me some of those hot wings, those vegan hot wings.
Aren't they great? Aren't they great?
That was a plug. That's all you get. And get out of here. Good catch. I take
um,
that.
thanks for coming. But and when it comes to, let's say, what we call drugs, so things that kind of alter a kind of mental space, we'll be waiting. That alter kind of like a mental space. Most of them also depress our immune system. So, and when I say drugs, it's not just the street drugs people talk about, it's also
Yeah.
the pharmaceutical drugs, and it's also what we talked about earlier in this with the synthetic vitamins. You need to be really, really aware that I'm taking this because I'm extremely low, because I'm also taking in the bad things of the synthetic vitamin, which is why I say there's no point in taking vitamin C. There's no point. I also have to say another thing. You talked about vitamin C, and they're saying how that's like an important supplement to take. But at the same time, there are people who have been helping to treat COVID and other things with intense vitamin C therapy. But then people say there's no point in doing it. So my question is, what's the answer then?
Yeah, which one is it?
Yeah, the hypocrisy of a lot of the news is really getting to me, but they literally will say both things. You need vitamin C. Vitamin C therapy doesn't work.
Right. Stay home. Don't go nowhere. Oh, y'all need to get back to work. Y'all need to we got to get things going. We got to but stay home.
Or wash your hands and use sanitizer. But if you're not interacting with anybody, then how much do you really need to do? Yeah. Because at the same time, you have important bacteria on your hands and bodies that if you keep trying to wash off and sanitize away, you will adversely affect your immune system. So it's like you really
make yourself more susceptible, right? Because doesn't hand sanitizer open the pores?
There's a lot of things. Well, it kills off a lot of the bacteria. The thing is, we have bacteria on our bodies that actually do us good.
Right.
Yes. So it kills both. So my whole thing is, well, this is a conversation. It's not one or the other, but let's talk about it. Mm-hmm. How do we practice a certain type of hygiene that's healthy for us, keeping in mind that there's a pandemic that we want to be mindful of? Let's talk about it. So if you're one of those people that don't leave your house at all, and I know about 3 people who will not leave, you don't need to have hand sanitizer. That doesn't make sense. You're not really interacting with anybody. Right. But you do your regular washing, you wash your hands, because you're about to eat or whatever. But you don't need hand sanitizer. But let's do the opposite spectrum, right? Because I'm still going out there, and I work with people, and I work with food. So what do? Hand sanitize. Why? Because I'm here, a part of this society, a part of this community, and I have to be mindful of that stuff. That's important. And that's how I weigh it out. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But if you're home and you don't interact with anyone and you live alone, then I don't know.
This is the problem, folks. You see these wonderful things? And this actually made me upset even before COVID. But you see these gloves that you put on to be safe and clean, because you magically put these gloves on doesn't mean you can magically touch everything now, touch your face and all this other stuff, not be mindful of what you're touching, and then take it off and you're fine. And you also have to learn how to take it off properly. I'm just saying. There's a rant. But
10 years ago, I've been in the food service industry for 20 years. And about 10 years ago, there was something that I read about people who wear latex gloves, right, and how much less sanitary ends up being because they can't feel that the gloves are dirty and they touch so many other things.
Right.
And that always kind of resonated with me because I always kind of was into this, if I'm at people's houses, I would way prefer them washing their hands very well and cooking with their hands because one, there's chemicals on the latex. All that stuff's not good for us anyway, but that's a whole other one. But I know, I've seen it. People can wear gloves and they do everything with them.